Alright, so this is the chicken. This is the hen. She started growing her feathers back since I've been keeping her separated. But I tried to get her to go back into the coop, and they started pecking at her again. And I can't stand that at all, so she's gonna go to a new home. Alright guys, so we're in the car, we're all loaded up, and we're headed to my grandmother's. Alright, so it is now 10:15 and we are pulling in at my grandmother's. So we made it here in 15 minutes. It's so crazy. We're going to get this chicken unloaded, get it relocated to where whatever pen she wants it in. And it's just the way we roll today. We're getting things done. And then we got to get back to the house for Courtney's testing.
I get her some, well, I got her some food already. I'll put her some water in there when I get her where I want her.
Alright. Alright, so we just did a really quick transfer because we have to get back, and I want to get back in time. It's 10:20 right now, so I've only been here for like 5 minutes. That's enough for me to talk to my grandmother, and I moved the chicken out of the possum cage, and we put her into a little bitty, well, a little bit bigger fencing, or pen, you want to call it. So we got her into that. So now we're going to head back to the house and get Courtney back onto testing. Isn't that right, Courtney?
Yeah.
So let's go back home. So now that we have that other chicken safe, and I know that it's not going to get pecked to death, we're going to talk today about the chicken coop. There's been a lot of people asking how my husband did it, how we built it. So I'm going to let him take over it on how he built it and let him have the fun.
Hey y'all, I'm back again. My wife was saying something about y'all wanted to know a little bit of information about the chicken coop. It's made out of 2x4s, 2x2s, and 1x2s. And I used the 1x2s for like a batting strip for the wire, the 1/2 inch square mesh wire. If you look here, the whole size of it is 8 foot by 8 foot. For the lumber, we just bought 8 foot material. 8 foot by 8 foot, and by a little over 7 foot tall. Because I used the drop pieces off of that 8 foot board for pieces I was doing throughout the other part of the coop, so there was no wasted material. And I'm 6'4", so I wanted to be able to walk inside of it and not have to duck my head. But anyway, if you can see here, I framed the whole thing out with 2x4s, and then on the outside of the 2x4 frame, I screwed a 2x2 every 16 inches, you know, which there's 6 of them, well, 5 of them, and then the bottom one's a 2x4. And but this is a 2x2 behind this 1x2, another 2x2 behind this 1x2, and so forth and so forth. And this is a 2x4. And then I did get a 1x4 for the bottom perimeter and a 1x4 for the top perimeter, because I got a 2x4 behind this 1x4 and a 2x4 behind this 1x4. to hold the wiring. So basically the wiring, I have no staples whatsoever in the wiring. Everything is just pinched together like a furring strip. Like I laid the wire on there, and then I put this furring strip, this 1x2, over top of the 2x2, and the wire in between it, and put screws in between it to mash the 1x2 and squeeze it to the 2x2 with the wire in between. Is how I done it. And another part with the predator proof, and this wire is stationary. It ain't really, there ain't really no flex in it, and you ain't getting through it very easily, especially being an animal. And what we did, we put it on like a footer. We dug the ground down a little bit, and we put it on blocks. So there's probably about, I don't know, 8 to 10 inches below the coop that there's, I got some bricks down there and rocks to make it a little more difficult. And I also ran the 1/2 inch mesh wire down below the ground, and then I angled it out away from the coop 2 feet. So the coop is here, and you go 2 feet, so the wire comes out to about here under the ground, and it's probably 8 inches below the ground. And then another thing, after we put everything back on top, we put bricks around this part to hold the wire down on the ground, which there is gravel, a little bit of gravel underneath of this dirt on top of that wire to keep it down and stationary. So if something did dig into the dirt, they would have to go through gravel before they got to the wire. And we also got the wire mesh across the whole bottom of the coop, 8 inches to 10 inches below the surface. And then we put it back in. We put wood chips, and we made a dusting box. We put a sand grit box in there. We got the feeder hanging. We got water in there. I got the nest boxes. I made the nest boxes out of scrap lumber that I found at a job site. Basically, it's just 2x2s. Well, it was 2x4s, and I ripped them down to 2x2s with a table saw. And some 2x4s and some OSB plywood, 7/16 OSB. And you might want to zoom in and look at that. Or did you show them inside of the coop or no?
No, we can walk around there and show them.
And for their little roost, because we do have some roost pieces in here for they can roost at night. I got just a 2x2 screwed in over here and screwed in over there, and I got a longer one on that side, so it's not in the way if we needed to walk in there in the middle of the night or in the evening or right before when they get up and roost. You wouldn't be walking up underneath of them, underneath of them. And in the nesting boxes.
Let's go in the pen.
Yeah, let's go in the pen. We can show you how to. All right, and here's the door. I made a lock latch. Basically, all it is a 1x2 with a single screw in it, and you can just pivot it around like that. And I got 2 of them on there, and that'll allow you to open the door. I did get some beefy hinges for it. They're pretty durable. I got them at the local hardware store. And I framed the door up with 2x4s and a 2x3 just for the weightness. I did a 2x4 on top and a 2x4 on the bottom, and I 45'd them. And then I used a 2x3 here and a 2x3 here for the vertical to save on the weight so it wouldn't be so heavy of a door. Did the wire mesh along that, and I cut my 1x2s, and I went around the perimeter of it to hold that wire mesh on that opening. And I did make it just out of the blue. We were wondering where are we going to get a door handle from. Well, I just made one out of a 2x4. I took a 2x4 and I just used a skill saw and chopped a little bit off of it and made a little latch. I can put my hand in there, you know, and just screwed it right to the existing 2x3 that I framed the door with, and it works good. I mean, it's better than something you can buy, honestly. It's more sturdy and durable. But let's go on in the coop. Then we can, let's go on in the coop, and then you can see the inside of how it's set up with the 2x2s and the 1x2s and the 1/2-inch wire mesh, because this 1/2-inch wire mesh is actually, an 1.5 inches off of the framing of the coop. So there is a gap. I don't know if you can see through here like this while the camera's there, but I can put my hand back behind, in between the framing of the coop and the wire mesh.
Go.
All right, y'all. Now this one, well, usually that's the dusting box here. Like if they want to dust themselves or whatever. I mean, I presume it doesn't really matter. You probably don't have to make something certain for that. We just did it. On that side was just where we put sand, and we had it blocked off so it wouldn't mix together. But just for their grit, for their gizzard, and but the coop needs to get cleaned out. It's starting to build up in here, and I don't know if you can see, but yeah, I'm 6'4", and this is supposed to be 7 foot tall, and it's built up pretty bit. Just from the food scraps and chickens making humps and digging down over here and bringing dirt over here and doing what they do. So it's not level in here to no means as of right now. If you can see the coops,
Dusting boxes.
Yeah, the nesting boxes. I did put a 2x4 across the bottom, and then I put a 2x2 here just so they can have something to jump up on, getting in and out of the nesting boxes. And matter of fact, we got some eggs in there. We got 5 eggs in there. And
I hadn't gotten them out this morning.
yeah, see, the thing is with chickens, I mean, they don't lay at 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I think it's like a 23-hour scheduled lay time. So, however it works,
Whenever they feel like laying, they lay.
Basically, you're better off collecting chicken eggs probably around lunchtime, honestly, because you might get a few eggs early in the morning, 6 o'clock or something, but you go right back out there in a few hours, you'll have more. But anyway, here's the roost. I just put a 2x2, and it's not in our walk a path, like our path of travel through here, because the door is right behind the camera, and I can walk through here. So if it was nighttime and they were up here starting to roost on this one, that one, or sometimes they even sit on top of the coop. And we got this other one over here. If we're able to walk in here and not have chickens above our head, so we ain't getting pooped on or nothing like that, in the early evening hours when they first get up on there. But you can see, like I was showing you when you were outside of the coop, basically the framing, the 2x4 framing. I got 2x4 down here, 2x4, 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 2x4 around the perimeter. And then I use this 2x2 to bring me out the same distance as this outside 2x4 for the outside frame to get me back to my 8 feet. And then I put the wire in front of that, so on the outside of that 2x2. I don't know if you can zoom in and see that. And then I put that 1x2 on the outside of that 2x2 and screwed the 1x2 to the 2x2 and pinched the 1/2 inch wire to it. that's basically what we done. If I did kick all this dirt and mulch and everything, and I would be able to get to the wire that runs up under there. But you can see how we blocked it up, because I did put a little bit of pitch on the roof for the water to drain, and it just wasn't enough. And since it's up under the trees and stuff, the leaves want to clog stuff up, and so we did jack up one side a little bit more, and I'll get to that when we get back outside. But on the framing here, I just put 1x2s across the top, and just put this come from Lowe's, this see-through sheathing, you know,
so they can get some sunlight in here.
so it would be sunlight, so you would actually see sun, you know, morning time and nighttime. It wouldn't be completely covered away from the sun, so they wouldn't get backwards of when's night and when's morning kind of thing. So that's that. This was an add-on at one time. From this area here, that way it was an add-on. Granted, it was already framed for that, but we had a little nesting thing there at one time.
For the baby chicks.
For the baby chicks, and that thing, the predators started to get into it. So we demolished it, took it out of there, and this part from here to here is new, that area. It's only about, I don't know, let's see here. I can't remember, it's a little over 2 feet probably. Yeah, 2 foot 4 inches. And that's probably 6 feet, because that's 2 feet right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 foot by 6 foot approximately. But it actually worked out well, and that's why we have the wire in here to cover up the old, you know, nest station for the baby chicks, so they can get in and out. And I had at one time a ramp coming down. This has been, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe. But for the longevity of it, this thing's been lasting. This thing lasts a long time. It's still tip-top shape. I mean, it ain't going nowhere.
You want to explain what the walkway is, the board? Why you put a board there?
Just because of the framing. That's just from the framing.
So we wouldn't step directly onto poop when we walk in?
Well, that, and we would have to walk down in a hole, because from that add-on we had to use that board to go across there. And instead of cutting this out right here, just where my foot's hitting, we just built it up so it was flush with the board coming in. It was somewhat flush, you know, it's close. It would be, so you wouldn't have to step down in a hole and then step up over this and trip on this to get into the coop. Let's go out here so I can show you how to use some scrap shingles.
Y'all, he still ducks his head because he don't want to bump his head.
Yeah, I hit my head too many times on things. I might over-exaggerate, you know, ducking my head sometimes. All right, we had some scrap shingles off the house. This roofing stuff you can get at Lowe's. It's clear. Let me hold it up there for you.
Thank you.
Granted, there's leaves and sticks on top of it, but this thing's up under trees like you wouldn't believe. But I have to get yeah, that's what the broom or the leaf blower's for. They're 3 feet by 3. I think they're 3. I can't remember, honestly. It's been so many years ago. I can't remember how many feet wide they were. Let me see if I can find one that I can tell you. Let me see. All right here. I got one right here. No, they're 2 foot by 8 foot. This top roofing, and they're clear. You buy it at Lowe's. And the coop is 8 by 8. So instead of buying something that was gonna have, you know, because the next size up was like 12 foot or so. I can't remember what the next size, but it was way more than what we needed. And instead of cutting it, I favored that, you know, I put it flush on that side and let it fall out where it was going to fall out on this side. And basically it's flush to flood, being flush on this side to being flush on that side. And when the water was running, it was running the water back into the coop. So all I did was I took the screws out of this side and slid some shingles out, slid some shingles up under it. And that's why this side has shingles. And then I put the screws back in the existing holes and made a hole through the shingle. And now the rain runs down it and goes off the shingle and drips, you know, away from the coop down here on these, you know, bricks down here. So the water's not running into the coop. So if it's downpour raining or so, you ain't gonna get wet in it. You'll stay dry as can be. You can show them here what I was talking about with the framing.
Yeah.
The 2x4 there, that's the existing, that's the framing for the whole body of the coop. And then all this is after.
And how you wrap
and then
it
how I
all
wrapped
the way
it,
around.
how I wrapped it, it made a nice tight wrap, and that corner fits good. Me personally, I think I did look at other people how they done it just to get ideas, but then when I started doing the work, and I was like, man, I don't think that's gonna work good. Yeah, I figured out this way, and then I looked at it and I was like, man, this is gonna work perfect, and you ain't gonna have no waste of material. You know, so everything we bought, we didn't have no waste at all. Thank you all for watching. I hope we answered, you know, most of y'all's questions about the chicken coop. If not, then just, you know, send a message to us.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. However you want to do it. But until next time, we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Have a great day.